Chapter 31. The original tree they had found yesterday was utterly stripped of its leaves and devoid of the fat, cheese puff-sized yellow bugs. "No!" Sasha shouted in a frantic tone, gripping the sides of her head. "The data said I had time. At least a day. This just can't." "Hey, easy. It's okay, Sasha, look," Emily shouted. About 100 feet away, a pillar of white light was beaming down on an even more enormous tree, highlighting the scene playing out under its ancient leafy limbs. They could see the relocated caterpillars, which were busy eating some sort of strange growths protruding from its bark. A brilliant, metallic indigo butterfly sailed past them from the tree's direction as they marveled. "Oh shit, they're emerging!" Sasha squealed in worried delight. "Well, come on then," Emily said, dashing towards the tree. Sasha followed, her pupils wide as the mind seal eased into her system, swirling with a smooth, uplifting energy. Emily was running like yesterday, each step precisely where it was best to be. A perfect marriage of precognition and economy of motion. A sudden misting of light rain on leaves reminded Emily of the cornfields she played in as a little girl. Staring up at the stars on her back, the wind rustling the stalks as her parents argued in the house a few blocks away. God, what a fantastic feeling. That never-ending white noise, with crickets and birds for an orchestra. Finally reaching the light, Emily slid to a wet halt and pointed wordlessly, trying to catch her breath. There it was. Sasha got the chills, standing in awe of her prize. A stunning old-growth giant plastered with crescent shelves of warm-colored mushrooms. The yellow caterpillars seemed to be feeding on them, chewing thumbnail moons out of the fungi's sharp edges. Still, many more had already encased themselves in bluish-purplish chrysalis, hanging off the mushrooms and vegetation. The remaining ones seemed very sluggish, perhaps dying, Sasha theorized. And at the junctions where the polypore mushrooms grew off the tree trunk were giant purple and lilac flowers, surrounded by short, fat leaves as big as her hand. Smack in the middle of each flower were long white pistils covered in pollen, attracting the butterflies and other pollinators. But the showstopper, the feature that made Sasha weak in the knees, was the 4 pods surrounding the pistils. They were bursting with the black seeds, like overstuffed violet dumplings. "Wow, and ew," Emily blurted out. Not the biggest fan of creepy crawlies, especially the pulsating, inching kind. Ignoring Emily, Sasha moved to the nearest flower, but paused, almost too scared to touch it. "This is the crucial moment. I can't screw this up. There's only a handful of ripe seed pods, so how do I—" But as Sasha thought it, she watched the early bird, blue-winged butterflies dancing all around her and Emily. Each one was like an alarm clock, beeping, "Time's up," over and over in her head. This had to happen now. There might be no coming back or second chances. "The beauty of beauty is in its transitory nature. The art of perception is witnessing the fleeting, fading nature of all things, yet recognizing their peak ripeness in every moment. See the maiden in the crone, Okay, where the hell did that come from? Focus, Sasha. You're losing it, woman." Tears ran down Sasha's cheeks in torrents, her breathing rapid and verging on hyperventilation. Almost instinctively, she let out a humbled exhale and then took in a mountain of fresh air. Then she lowered her heart rate back down to non-stroke levels, using her meditative training. Just as she stabilized her biology, a familiar worried hand was on her shoulder. "Sasha, you okay?" She turned to Emily and grabbed her shoulders. Sasha's signature maneuver when they were both at the same level of tripping ovaries. "Okay, now, do you feel that?" "What? What am I supposed to be feeling here?" Emily asked, confused but wanting to be her usual people-pleasing self. She wasn't going to lie now, not after all the fantastical, weird shit of the last couple of days. But she was searching, trying. "It's like, damn, this is hard to describe. Like an itch in the back of your skull, okay? And when you go to scratch it, think of it, a healing scab feeling. You want to pick at it and mix it with pleasure of renewal, healing emergence with lingering pain, like biological graduation. A snake shedding its skin, you know? Just reach out with your mind, Em, and see what you get. Really, let it orientate in your mind, your headspace. Like, after getting the gist of her rambling TED Talk, Emily shut her eyes and tuned Sasha out. She relaxed as the lingering tangerine cream flavor of the Mind Seal refreshed itself. The remaining microspheres dissolving in her mouth, exposing, was that a hint of rosemary? Then, Emily tripped over something out there in the great mystery. It was a memory, a feeling from her childhood. The little kid, loose-toothed, strange okayness of extracting an old part of your body, because a new structure, a unique aspect is taking its place. And now, an astral adult tooth broke the surface of your interior reality, demanding to be felt, touched. Just like the caterpillars. Found it, Emily screamed, her eyes still closed and excited. She danced in place, not wanting to lose the itch's location because she knew the scratching would be ecstasy. Okay, hit it, Sasha exclaimed, confusing her even further. She saw the lack of recognition on Emily's squirming face and rephrased. Punch it, enter it, accept it, entertain it, Sasha never had to do this before Emily. Relay personal spiritual sensations and tie them to equally mysterious operating instructions. It was maddening, one of the most challenging things she had ever attempted. Emily imagined moving towards the spot, as if she could reach the end of the sensation rainbow, even though it was impossible. But then her subconscious served up a clip from a random video. A Mobius strip, 2 sides, 1 twist, then 1 side. Sasha, me, mind sealed, psychically and temporally bonded, impossible. The future as the present, also impossible? Suddenly, Emily felt that all the Newtonian forces holding dominion over her had fluctuated, revealing more of their true nature. Time was becoming malleable, or perhaps irrelevant altogether. Space was subjective, or rather, somewhat elective. Emily was somehow straddling 2 separate embodiments, 2 places. There was the fertile, primordial womb of the ecosystem all around her, but also a dry, windy, artificial space filled with human noises. She smelled party food, perfumes, and pollution, and her ears were picking up distant car horns, music, and someone's voice, close but unintelligible. Sasha, I think I might be having a psychotic episode or something, Emily stated, semi-jokingly. Still, Sasha believed she knew exactly what Emily was experiencing. Perhaps the Mind Seal candy had worked after all. Describe it, fast, Sasha said, her voice fighting for Emily's attention. Solid, flat, concrete. A rooftop, I think. A celebration? I'm not sure. Yes, you did good. I felt it too, and that's you and me. But in the future. Ha! Sasha said, trying her best to remain the sane one as she turned hurriedly back to the flowers. She knew the slight drizzle of rain could pick up at any moment, which might foul or germinate the seeds. These frickin' windows of fate keep getting smaller and smaller. Damn Alice effect. Sasha was frantic to collect the seeds. The pods could drop tonight and lay ruined on the force floor, or get eaten by birds or mold or who knows. Suddenly, she realized that they hadn't needed the glasses to find the black seeds, but they might help. Sasha slid them on with shaking, vibrating fingers, Emily following suit. The whole scene was beautiful, especially with the halos and sparkles coming off of the lenses. Aided by the recently unlocked AI software, Sasha finally understood the life cycle of the black seed. The caterpillars. They hatched on that sacrificial tree. It was just a snack. Enough fuel to make it over here so they could feed on these fungi, Sasha said, awestruck by evolution. She touched the mushroom's edges and found fresh, wet chew marks. The exposed inner tissue was stained a deep blue, indicating a psychoactive component. Apparently, The caterpillars had munched on the sunset-colored flesh of the fungi, and, high from the mushrooms, began forming their chrysalis around the closed flower buds, that, in turn, signaled the flowers to bloom. Once the butterflies emerged, they pollinated the flowers, which finally ripened the black seed pods. But from caterpillars to butterflies in one day? It has to be an effect of the symbiosis with the black seed tree, magnifying and accelerating the chemical messengers inside the chrysalis. Yes, wow and ew both. Hey, Sasha, I think I might puke, Emily said, taking her glasses off and bending at the waist. All of Emily's senses had gone from dull to aching, everything around her just a little too loud, bright, and abrasive. Sasha looked back, genuinely concerned for her friend, but her need for expedient, concrete results overrode her compassion. Pulling out a specimen jar, she put it under one of the flowers. Shaking the massive bloom produced a torrent of black seeds, and she moved quickly to the next one, rushing to fill up the jar. Oh, no, not yet. Just give me a second. We almost have enough. Emily dropped to the wet grass, her mouth a river of biological imperatives. Why was she more nauseous today than yesterday? Oh, right, that fucking Mind Seal candy. Just at the thought of those flavors, she purged the remainder of it from her system, spitting through the stream of saliva and chunky, caramel-colored effluents. The sensation of being so profoundly connected to Sasha had evaporated when she stood up. Looking over at Sasha as she swished water and spit, Emily was kind of pissed, thank you very much. Pissed that Sasha had chosen a bunch of seeds rather than make sure she wasn't dying, hello. Pissed that she had glimpsed her supposed future, but she didn't even know if it included a boyfriend, a dog, or... Done. Oh man, Emily, look how freaking full this jar is. We're rich. Rich? I thought this was about healing people, research, completing the 10, not just money. Emily shot back, glaring at Sasha. Well, rich, famous, published, you know what I mean. But yeah, all that and more, Sasha replied, her intentions as obscured as the secret recipe in her magical candies. Mazel tov? Was all Emily could think of, making them laugh like idiots. But then Emily held up a silent finger, shook her head, and barfed a second and hopefully last time. Sasha jumped out of the spew zone, wincing. Nasty. God, I hate puking. Supportive much? Emily countered, swinging back to annoyed. She gave Sasha the universal, hand me another damn water bottle gesture as she stood up. After swishing and spitting a half-dozen times, Emily wiped her mouth and took a couple deep, grounding breaths. Without missing a beat, Sasha held up a nitrous packet, whatever the hell that was, and waved it in the air like a dog treat. Race you back to our press conference? She challenged with an impish smirk. Oh, it's on. I'll smoke your ass, you slowpoke, Emily declared, her mood shifting along with the herbs in her blood. The memory of her nausea from just a second ago was washed away by a flood of affection for Sasha and the tremendous beauty surrounding them. Not today, you won't, grasshopper, Sasha said, struggling to tear open the chew. Emily pulled out her own nitrous and tore it expertly at the perforations. They tried to out-chew each other like second graders, as something simultaneously dawned on them. They were both competitive as hell, and they had become best friends despite everything. Emily finished first, turned, and bolted like a bat out of Hello Kitty into the dense green landscape. Not today, Sasha yelled at Emily's disappearing backside. She dug in with her cross-trainers, pumped her arms in perfect form, and took off, the jungle swallowing them up.